Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen. Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, for another daily cryptocurrency market update. If you are new around here, every single day we try at 1 p.m. to drop an update just like this one to help you guys stay up to date with the latest and greatest things happening within the crypto space, but also the broader markets and the landscape of things as a whole. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing in this video. Having said that, I will be taking the next 3 days off to deal with some family matters. So I am actually going to take those 3 days fully off. So there aren't going to be any market updates for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but we'll be back with a bang on Monday. And we have some epic things lined up for you here at Allincrypto and allincrypto.com, the YouTube channel, the website, the Twitter. You know, we really are going to be delivering some pretty insane things over the next 24 months. And whilst doing that, making sure you guys are absolutely informed and taking advantage of the rise of distributed ledgers. And actually, this is where I want to start the video off. There was an article that somebody sent me from Fox News. Now, I know what people are going to say about Fox News. You know, take this as it is. And they actually had the infamous Nigel Farage on. And I want to look at that clip because even though I perhaps think that Nigel Farage isn't the best person or the Fox News presenters to really talk about this, perhaps I am, and we'll be extending on what they have to say. And they talk about the kind of digitalization of everything. And this is here and coming at a rapid speed. We said this, and we've been saying this week. And maybe it's because I've been looking a lot into something called cybernetics, which is very interesting. It always amazes me when you look at people who have wrote books 60, 70 years ago that were so spot on about where we are today. You know, you could claim George Orwell really understood the future. Well, I believe he really understood the past and communism. That aside, to not go down that very deep, dark rabbit hole, there was a guy called Norbert Wiener, very unfortunate name, who wrote a book on basically humans and machines referring largely to computers and where that was all going to take us. We are at that conjunction today, and he was spot on. And actually, we're going to see a real advancement in that. We have been saying that when we get back, we're going to be talking to you guys about what I think is going to be the next big application for distributed ledgers, and that is cloud computing. Cloud computing is already massive. It's going to grow exponentially, certainly as everything becomes digitalized, certainly with the rise of AI. You need a computer to facilitate all of this essentially and to compute it. So we will be getting it, and I believe I'm one of the only channels that really talks about this new move. I think I'm very early on it, and it's something that we're really going to explore and capitalize off, and I'm going to take you guys on that journey with me. But I want to play this clip. We'll get into what we usually do. We'll look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's having that well-deserved nap rest. But it will push on to higher grounds. And right now, me and my Patreons are accumulating altcoins that we think have some immense potential. And if you do want to get on that train, please do let me know. We're going to look at a number of things. After this, we're going to go back to Chainlink's NFT of the Tesla Model car. And you can see how human beings are almost going to have one of these also. And we're going to look at others' market cap dominance, which is a technical magnificence. You know, we've got things so technically spot on. And we've used technical analysis ready to predict this year to a degree of accuracy that we've not seen really anywhere else. We're also looking at others' market cap dominance. What we're kind of doing is accumulating altcoins for this larger pattern to play out after a shorter pattern has kind of confirmed that we are now, even with recent price action, setting up for that bigger pattern. We'll talk a little bit about the macro stuff, look at some macroeconomic data yesterday, like US GDPs, some stuff from the UK. Lots of interest rates getting priced out now and a real shift happening. But let's start with this video talking about digital identities, CBDCs, control from Fox News. Again, take it with a pinch of salt. We don't try and play either side. You know, I think they've created these sides for us to be against one another. But it's a very interesting thing, and I think it's the root of this conversation is very true and what's likely going to play out. So let's get into that.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen was out there advocating that we all have to have digital IDs because the future will be digital. You shouldn't have privacy, apparently. Yeah, that's what she believes. She claims that the IDs can be a real booster to emerging economies. The trick is to build public digital infrastructure, she said, that is interoperable, open to all, and trusted. Joining me now to explain just how dangerous this is, Nigel Farage, former Brexit Party leader. Nigel, this is about global government control and a way to, what, redistribute the wealth away from the so-called wealthy nations to everybody else?
Well, it's about control, isn't it? I mean, this is the most glaring example we've ever seen from a prominent world leader. Von der Leyen is the president of the European Commission, 450 million people living within that union. Oh, and by the way, she's unelected, she's appointed, and here she is brazenly saying we need a digital ID card or app on our phones. Now, bear in mind, France and Germany are trialing this already. The European Union, she wants this to be enforced by the early 2030s and, may I add, backed up by a central bank digital currency, living in a cashless society. And now she wants the whole thing to go global. Can you imagine? On this ID card will be not just your date of birth, your gender, your eye color, your height, your approximate weight. There will be your vaccine status, your financial status, and goodness knows what else will be on that card. Can you imagine this data falling into the hands of bad actors? And if you think about it,
That's
and,
all
and I
point.
speak as somebody who's recently been debanked as a result of his political opinions. And this is happening in America too, as you well know, to lots of people. If we're not careful, we head towards a Chinese-style social credit system where unless you go along with the views of the day, you become a non-person.
So I have to be honest, I have very mixed views on Nigel Farage. I remember actually buying a crypto course. It was actually brought forward to me by a family member who was the one that bought it. And it was, why they didn't just come to me, I don't know. But the picks that were given, I can't mention them, were atrocious. So I have very mixed views on Nigel Farage, all politicians. But the root of what these guys are talking about is very true. You know, you are going to move on to central bank digital currencies. It's going to be a cashless society, and you are going to have digital IDs. The other day, actually, very interestingly, and I think very fitting with what we're talking about, we looked at something that Chainlink were essentially going to enable. And this is, or I'll read the tweet to you. Imagine if every Tesla was tokenized as a DNFT with real-world metadata, updates showing its service records, mileage, accident history, value, and more. All current and future owners would have on-chain accessibility to verify vehicles' histories. Every single thing. This is one reason why we've been able to capitalize off the crypto space so much. We fundamentally understand what's happening here. It is a technology which really all it is this idea of distributing a ledger. So we're moving away from central systems. It's why we think decentralized computing is going to be so big. We're moving away from Amazon, so on and so forth. How many of you guys knew that the majority of what consents Ethereum is done on cloud computing or Cardano or all these other cryptocurrencies? But I don't want to, we're going to really explore this in a lot of depth. You know, this is the future we're moving towards. Think about a passport. Why do we need a passport, a physical passport? We don't, you know, and there are benefits like ease of use, but it comes at a cost of perhaps control. And I think Nigel Farage clearly doesn't understand things like ZK rollups and all these other things. But fundamentally what they're talking about is very much the future that we're moving towards. It's very interesting at the moment how we're really seeing across a lot of countries the rise of the right. You know, is that something perhaps planned for whatever's coming around the corner? I don't know, just purely speculating. And we like to go into these sort of more deep philosophical tangents with these updates because there's something far more than just technological going on here. There's a fundamental shift in humanity and how it works. And probably computers were one of the biggest components to that. And it's now being extended with everything that we're seeing. So moving on to a little bit more sort of crypto related stuff, where this is all very relevant to the crypto space. It's why we think ultimately it succeeds. This is a chart of technical beauty. You know, we highlighted a very small inverse head and shoulders down here on others market cap dominance that gave us a projected target to what could potentially have looked like it was going to be a broader neckline. And you can see you ran into this and you paused. Just like with Microsoft, for example, we keep using it as our kind of golden child, if you will. We've been so right on the stock market, but if we look at Microsoft, again, technical beauty. That is not Microsoft, by the way, guys. I do apologize. Technical beauty in regards to where it ran to, pull back, some sort of a falling wedge into a breakout, now looking to push higher. Stock's going to go high. It's all going to be driven by this AI narrative. Fundamental to all these revolutions, you know, there's cloud computing. The dollar yesterday, you know, Bitcoin has, let's cover Bitcoin, ran into a bit of resistance, just like it did previously. Expect it to be resistance. It will push higher, don't be too greedy, but you've got all this happening at the same time that the stock market is running into resistance. And the likes of the Dixie is getting a bit of a bid. Dixie's had a bit of a shit time. We do think it's now on a broader downtrend. But yesterday you had news like GDP. You know, GDP came out at 5.2, expectations were 5. You're going to continue to get better than expected data until the shit hits the fan. And this is why we have a bullish outlook and fundamentally have disagreed with the bears. The people that are hanging on to being bearish at this point, when you have the stock market looking like it does, gold looking like it does, crypto looking like it does, I think have lost their mind, quite frankly. And they've doubled down on a wrong thesis. They're like a Karen who's approached someone in a parking spot that they feel they're entitled to have. And when the individual in the parking spot has said, whoa, hang on, I'm not doing anything wrong, they've kind of screamed at them. You know, that's kind of how I feel like a lot of the bears are right now. But yeah, you're also getting a lot of interest rate pricing out. So here you've got traders fully price 25 basis point rate cuts in ECB for early April next year. I also want to show you guys the Fed Watch tool because we're actually seeing rate prices come in or being priced in later on. Now, we know pivots are typically bad for the markets, but markets are forward looking and actually see this as a good thing initially. So if we look at the probability for the next meeting, which is in December the 13th, it's basically fixed that they're not going to do anything. Then if we move to January, you're seeing an equal amount of they're going to cut, then they're going to hike, and again, fixed. If we go on to March, you're now creeping up in terms of cuts. It's nearly a 50% chance. Again, this is in May, predominantly a 50% chance that you're going to cut. You go into June, you're starting to see more cuts get priced in. It's very interesting. We're going to keep you up to date on all this on this channel. We really do feel like we provide a very good overview of not only what's going on here in the crypto space, technically where it's at, fundamentally where it's at, but also the broader markets. I don't think you get that on really any of the crypto related channels. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you. If you want to become a patron, do check the link in the description. We are setting up right now for what we believe is a massive opportunity. We've identified a sector that we are quite heavily, I would say, or I certainly am investing in. Ready for that other market cap dominance to break out, ready for the market to push hard, gold to take the resistance, S&P to take the resistance, Bitcoin to take the resistance to the moon. All I've got for you guys. Thanks for watching. I will see you on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'm going to love and leave you.